right. Well, welcome to Careers and Coffee. I'm Liz Kennedy, and I'm here with Izabela Zaluska, one of the reporters here at the Gazette. And I'm so excited to have you, Izabela. Nice to have you here.
Yeah, thanks so much, Liz.
Thanks for joining us. Today, we're going to talk about a story that you recently wrote that might be interest to job seekers in the area. Can you tell us a little bit about that story?
Yeah, so just kind of over the last year of reporting, I've had a chance to write about a lot of different projects funded by American Rescue Plan dollars. And one of the more recent projects that I wrote about is a partnership between Iowa City and the University of Iowa Labor Center. They're getting funding over the next couple of years, I think next 4 to 5 years or so, to actively recruit year-round for their pre-apprenticeship program. And it's a way to just kind of continuing to boost the skilled trades workforce, getting people interested in the trades, as well as helping them, pursue that career and giving them the resources to be successful.
Hmm. When I read your story, I was like, wow, I didn't know there was a labor center. Like, what is that? What is the Iowa Labor Center?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it has a really long history. I think they just recently celebrated their 70th or 75th anniversary. So they really focus on educating about different trades, helping recruit and get people in the door, and really also building connections with the apprenticeship programs in the area. So in the Iowa City and Cedar Rapids area. That's kind of what I focused on with this story. And I think they do a lot more than that. They also have different classes and seminars. I know another thing that the Labor Center director does is she has a kind of like a group for women in the trades. So just sort of another community and another support network for women specifically.
Well, that's really interesting. So it looks like there were 20 graduates in this program. Can you tell us a little bit about what a pre-apprenticeship is? Because that's basically what they're certified with, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the pre-apprenticeship program is a 5-week class. It's typically held in the fall. And it's a way, the program actively recruits for it as well. Typically, they try to actively recruit people who are underrepresented in the trades. So women, people of color, veterans. And through these 5 weeks, the participants go through learning about different trades. They also get certified in OSHA, CPR, and first aid. So once they do move on to that apprenticeship part, they already have those certifications that are important. In the pre-apprenticeship program, they also learn financial literacy, interviewing skills. So it's almost like a course to prepare them to then qualify for and complete a skilled trades apprenticeship.
What was your kind of reaction to, did you get to talk with some of the graduates?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. And I also got a chance to speak with someone who did the program a couple years ago and is now a mentor to people in the pre-apprenticeship program. And what was really awesome getting a chance to be at the graduation was seeing just all of the different people. People were younger, maybe soon to graduate high school. Some people were older. There was a mom who did the class with her son. So really just a huge variety of people who are interested in the trades and maybe without this program wouldn't have, it would have maybe been a little bit harder for them to pursue that career, even though that's what they were interested in. One of the participants, she said that she's always had an interest in, the trades and moving forward in that way, but just wasn't really sure how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And the pre-apprenticeship program helped her, move forward in that.
Yeah, it does feel like a lot of times that there is difficulty for people to get started with some of these kind of big, because you think like a plumbing apprenticeship, that's a really long commitment, and I wouldn't even know anyone that could sponsor me to get involved with that, and really getting a foot in the door can be kind of difficult for people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's something that I had a chance to talk about with the Labor Center director, Robin Clark Bennett, about just, it's a program that has the information that's there, but it's also a really great way to connect the participants to the directors and the ones who run these apprenticeship programs in the area too. Because like with any career, it definitely helps to maybe know someone or just have someone as a mentor to get started. But then what the pre-apprenticeship program does as well is it follows up with the participants even when they're in the apprenticeship, continuing to support them and seeing if there's anything that they might need or any challenges that they might be facing. One of the participants who I spoke with, Justin, he shared with me, he's in his second year of a carpentry apprenticeship, and he spoke about just some of the language barriers and cultural differences that he experienced in his apprenticeship and just kind of working through it. And now he's really happy to be a mentor for other people in the pre-apprenticeship program to kind of help them go through and support them if they're maybe experiencing some of the same things that he did, and kind of help them through that.
Yeah, it's not is that the case management you were talking about?
Yeah, so kind of. So he's just someone who went through the program and is now a mentor.
Right.
But yeah, they also follow up and just kind of make sure that, once you're in the door, that you're also, have the support that you need.
And it kind of seemed, was there like an industry that it was sort of focused on? I mean, you talked about construction, but were there other programs that were represented that they kind of got to get a taste for in the program?
Yeah, I'm not sure the full list, but I think it's like 15 or 16 of the trades they get exposure to. So I would imagine it's the, kind of the ones that you think about first: carpentry, electrician, plumbing, but then also maybe some of the other ones that people aren't as familiar with, but there's still a need for to, continue growing the workforce and also diversifying the workforce too.
Right. Yeah. Well, I was last time on Careers and Coffee, we were talking with Aaron Murphy about, this lack of population growth that we have in Iowa. And, we're seeing a lot of diverse applicants that come, just different people from all walks of life that come in. If we can get them kind of filtered into some of these doors that are career pathways, that could be really good for Iowa to have some growth there.
Yeah, I think something that was mentioned in that graduation was that in the Iowa City, Cedar Rapids area in the next decade or so, there's going to be about 5,000 carpenters retiring. So that's going to be a pretty big gap to fill, which is another reason why this program is so important, because it's helping, like I said before, just like not only with the workforce, but just getting different people and helping to diversify that workforce too, which is really important.
Wow, that's a big number.
Yeah.
So was there like a cost for these candidates to go through this, or was it like a course where they had to pay tuition, or?
So actually, no, it's free of cost to the participants, which is another, I think, really great thing and removes that barrier. So the program is funded by grant dollars, and which is another reason why this ARPA investment is so important, because they, for the next few years or so, they don't have to rely on grant funding, which can sometimes be a little bit inconsistent, just kind of not knowing maybe where that funding's coming from. Knowing that they're going to have this funding for the next few years, they can actively recruit year round and really promote the program even more, because they know they're going to be able to continue holding the 5-week course.
Oh, well, if there's someone that's interested in maybe participating in this, how do they contact the recruiters?
Yeah, I think probably the easiest way would be to look at the Labor Center on Facebook as well as on their website. And there's a pre-apprenticeship program kind of tab on their website that has a lot of information about the program, different links and resources. And then that seems like the best place to kind of keep an eye out when that next application period will open. I'm not typically sure when the center starts accepting applications, but the program does begin in the fall. So I would imagine sometime next year, more information about that next cohort will be available.
All right. Well, we'll be sure to put those links in the show notes for today. But thanks so much for joining us today, Izabela, and talking about your story. It's a really important look at kind of some of the good news that's happening in our market as far as getting people into trades and helping them along through the process. So it was kind of a bright spot on our site. I'll include a link to your story. And thank you so much for joining us for Careers and Coffee.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Liz. I really appreciated talking with you, and thanks for giving me the chance to talk more about the story.
Awesome. All right. Well, you guys, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.